Hi, good evening, and welcome to my daily live session on various tools and methods from my toolkit for execution excellence. And my name is Dinakar. I'm the founder of Samutana and the inventor of Do How, a methodology for changing mindset and culture through debates and discussions on contextual hints, which is directly linked to the life situations in a company or in a team. With that very brief introduction, I would like to invite you to experience Do How on 14th of March, Sunday at 11 o'clock. And to register to the program, please visit dinakarmurthy.com. And then you would see the links there, and you can please register yourself for the program and participate for experiencing Do How web workshop. It's not a webinar, it's a web workshop where every participant is actively involved in the entire duration of the session. So please do come there. So with that very brief introduction, let me directly jump on to the recap of whatever I spoke yesterday, which is what all about daily Scrum. I spoke about the daily Scrum, which is what I've been doing for the last 30 odd years. I said it's about the daily standing meeting or the sunrise meeting, sunset meeting, or one could also call as the daily works management meeting, and of course, daily Scrum in the modern terminology. Basically, it's a standing meeting where everybody would get aligned to the goal and then have clarity on what the priorities are and make sure that all is ready for tomorrow's plan and then execute them. And then I also spoke about the 7 agenda topics, which would be the scoreboard, then the success and failure from yesterday, and after that comes the rolling plan. Then to ensure that the teamwork is being done smoothly without any problem. Then talk about the immediate containment of any kind of a deviation that was there. Then after that would be the celebration, the most important thing of the Scrum meeting, some kind of a celebration every day. And finally, uh, uh, discussion and the agreement on what to escalate. Escalation is not upper delegation. I had spoken about escalation and upper delegation some time back. Escalation is about giving the upper management or the superior the information which is going to be useful for timely decision making so that the targets will be achieved consistently without any problem. So that's very, very brief recap of what I did yesterday. So today I'm going to be talking about another topic which is possibly very common, which is brainstorming. Brainstorming is something which is, what should I say, very, very commonly used. Everybody use that. And here on the board, you see the brainstorming, not really brainstorming, it is brain writing, wherein you get participants to write on cards and then pin it on the pin board. And after that, try to sort it out so that you could get the basic ideation done without any prejudice. Because normally, when somebody is talking about telling the ideas, then there could be cross discussions happening that this guy is not, what should I say, expressing the current reality or the correct reality. And therefore, there could be some amount of disconnect between the participant. Therefore, it could be better, which is what we used to practice in Bosch, using cards, colored cards, to again give a sense of child play, nursery games, etc. So one would have the free thought and free flowing thought during the discussion to write down these topics on a card, and then after that try to group them out and then arrive at your solutions based on brainstorming. So what is the purpose of brainstorming? Brainstorming is very simple. Let us say there is a problem, there is a challenge, there is a question, and each one of us would have an answer. And as I have been quite regularly explaining, each one of us come from a different background. Therefore, each one of us have a different mindset. Different mindset means different perception of the reality based on different predictions being done by our subconscious. And therefore, the predictions are different. The perception of reality is different. And therefore, the understanding of the reality is different. And because of that, the decision making is different. And because of the decision making being different, the way we act and respond also is different. So it's not uniform at all of us are unique individuals. We don't have any commonality at all. So let us say there is a question to be answered, which could be simple as why is the traffic so intense in Bangalore? Very simple question. And or why is the traffic so chaotic in Bangalore? Very simple question. And for that question, I would be knowing one answer. Let us say the team has got a diverse set of people from different backgrounds. So each one of them would have a different perspective, different answer for that question. So we basically storm all the answers for a particular question, particular challenge, particular problem, and then try to make sense out of that. That is what is brainstorming all about. Therefore, we are trying to get the perspective from all directions for any problem, for any question, and then find an answer which is going to be comprehensive. Brainstorming is ideal whenever the topics are not that, or let's say topics are of common knowledge. When you're trying to brainstorm the reasons for the component not getting clamped with a diverse group of people, it will be just uh, waste of time. And there it is important to really get people who are quite aware of that particular domain that you are talking about. Then the brainstorming works effectively. It's important that the brainstorming participants are extremely important. They are the key to ensuring a success in the activity. And of course, to a great extent, the facilitator's job also, the moderator's job also is equally important, because he has to ensure that there are no team dynamics which is hindering brainstorming, and ensure that everybody participate without any prejudice, without any inhibition. And that's a key competence of a facilitator, and that is also a very key success factor for brainstorming. One is choosing the participants who are understanding the topic which you are brainstorming. Second is to have a moderator who can understand the team dynamics and make sure that everybody can contribute significantly and actively. That is one aspect to it. The other thing which is very important is, when we are doing brainstorming, it's all about opinions. It's not about data or facts. And I might have seen a particular number as data, and then I would interpret that in my own way, and each one would do in their own way. For example, we have one particular challenge where the speed at which the operator is working is X. Let us say if it is 120 against a target of 140, whatever be the unit, then I would be perceiving that possibly the guy is not working very effectively. The other person could be perceiving that with so many difficulties, he's at least able to make up to 120, which is really outstanding. That itself is a huge differentiator. And in such a situation, to really brainstorm, there is always a big risk, and that is what I want to talk about, because of the impressions and the amount of sentiments flowing around in the room. It's very probable that you are totally drawn away from the actual problem, actual cause, and you start talking about things which are really not important to solving that problem in totality. And that's where again the facilitator comes into the picture. His presence there and his action is extremely important, to be asking the right questions, in terms of, are we really missing out some data, some facts, some numbers, because they're equally important when you do brainstorming. It's not just about simply talking about opinions and feelings and then putting them down on a piece of paper, and that really doesn't really help much. That is something which one needs to really keep in mind, so that you don't really end up doing a brainstorming session without any end result. And of course, brainstorming is something which is universally done on various topics, and there are multiple tools and aids for brainstorming. You could use various ways of getting people to think, getting people to become more creative. And one such tool is Do How, wherein I'm giving contextual hints for brainstorming. So I talk about brainstorm on the evidences that you have found in your organization in the last 1 week. Brainstorm on when you're talking about a problem. So that gives the focus to the brainstorming, which is again another possibility of people using Do How for brainstorming. Otherwise, there are multiple tools available. There's no dearth to the tools available. And the next challenge in brainstorming is to group them. That again needs somebody who's competent in that particular domain. The facilitator could be competent, then it is ideal. Otherwise, you could take somebody in the group who is competent to help you in doing the grouping. Grouping is extremely important, because if you look at brainstorming, normally if there are 8 people, you may be getting as close to 60 ideas, 60 to 70 ideas. And then starting working on all those 60, 70 ideas, it doesn't make any sense at all. Therefore, it's important that we try to cluster them, try to group them into maybe 5 to 6 different groups. And each group then has a kind of a typical performance, a typical characteristic, and then that could be used as the base for the discussion of the next steps. So it's important to cluster once you have done the brainstorming. That's also another very important factor which one needs to keep in mind. So brainstorming, as far as the tool is concerned, is outstanding. It's really great. A very simple tool to use. Anybody can use it. It can be used for solving problems, for answering questions, especially when different perspectives are necessary for finding a robust solution. That is a core area of application. And some of the positives are that people are very easy. They want to talk, they want to give ideas, so they give ideas. And brainstorming doesn't really have any ownership. I give an idea, I don't have any ownership to that idea. So that is something which is also a kind of a positive thing, because people give ideas without any problem. On the negative side, you need to have the right participants. Otherwise, brainstorming will really be a waste of time. And you need to have a very, very good facilitator. Otherwise, brainstorming will again be a waste of time, even though you have good participants, because one of the participants will hijack the entire session. And then finally, his agenda will be sold in the brainstorming session using all these modern tools. And that is a very, very classical team, what should I say, dynamics in any company. Therefore, a very, very competent facilitator is mandatory for you to get success in brainstorming. The next negative factor which I spoke about is adverse effect of brainstorming is not to be using data and facts and information, numbers. So there, as far as possible, support the brainstorming with data, facts, and information, so that it becomes more rational, more factual. Not that so it's only based on opinions and whims and fancies of people. So that should not be the case. So with that, once you have got the ideas, it's also important to cluster them so that you can start working on smaller areas, not on huge number of ideas, smaller ideas which may not really make sense in investigating and going deep to such a level, unless you have clustered them. Once you have clustered them, within that cluster you see which is the biggest contributor, only work on that with the principle of less is more, so that you don't really go round and round and round in circles trying to answer all the problems, all the ideas which came up in the brainstorming session. Thanks a lot for watching. For those of you in India, have a nice evening. For those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. And before I go, as usual, I'll give you a small peek into what are we going to be talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow, my topic is on buffer, on project buffer. Again, this is a kind of a recap, I would say, what your topic which I had spoken some time back. But still, it will be interesting to talk about project buffer and what is a healthy buffer in a project. So we talk about that tomorrow. With that, thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice evening, I said, and have a great day ahead. And see you tomorrow, more or less at the same time, 8:30 Indian Standard Time. Thank you and goodbye.